Hey everyone, welcome back to the Scaling Deep podcast. I am Lisa Princik. I'm a membership coach, business strategist. I'm the owner of the Scaling Deep Society and Membership School, both programs designed to help people create their own unique, very satisfying, very flexible, and freeing membership program, which I believe is 100% possible for anyone. Of course, growing a business of any kind requires commitment, passion, tenacity. There's no such thing as having something that's super duper easy and you don't have to do anything. It's all going to take a little bit of work, a tiny bit of hustle, and also just figuring out all the right combinations, though, to make your throwing spaghetti on the wall strategy short-lived. And that's really my goal, is to help you take all the variables that you have in front of you and narrow them down into a more predictable strategy based on your focus area, your strengths, your passion, what you want to do, and help make sure you do it, right? So that leads really nicely into today's topic around, is it better to have an audience first or a membership? Now, before you go and say, obviously, Lisa, you have to have an audience before you start a membership so that you have someone to sell your membership to. And yes, I get that. However, there are a couple of different ways that you can go about creating your membership and growing that type of program. And it also depends on where you've come from. So I want to go over this question today because it entirely depends. And there are benefits and there are pros and cons to each type of process. So I have worked with a lot of coaches, a lot of consultants, experts, like people who are professionals, whether it's therapy or some other kind of consulting, some kind of business strategy or marketing background, as well as people with unique interests in very specific topics that might be more B2C. So I have worked with all kinds of people. For the most part, the people I've worked with privately have come to me from a background of coaching or consulting, and they want to move into having a membership program. And that is in part because they have a going business already. So if you are somebody who's getting paid slightly higher ticket, perhaps for your time to work with people, and you've been doing it for a while, you feel pretty secure financially from the revenue you're generating by the work you're doing in your business, serving clients one-on-one or even one on a few. And often you feel a bit safe that you can keep that going and work on building a membership on the side. So that is typically who I've been working with more closely one-on-one. However, lately, I've had a number of people who have built up quite big audiences, either on YouTube or in Facebook groups, and now want to monetize with a membership. And it's a really interesting thing because it's not all that easy necessarily just to have had a big audience to be able to monetize it. So that's why I think that you can do either. And it actually just really depends on the background you're coming from and your skill set. So let's look at scenario one. You don't have a large audience, but you have a fairly full practice or predictability in the amount that you can work with people. And now you're thinking, wow, I'm getting kind of booked out. And I want to find a way to work with people more one on a few or one on many because I'm repeating myself a lot. I have only so much time in the day. I don't really need to be charging hourly amounts that get higher and higher and higher all the time for my clients who actually just need to stay tethered to the work that we've done together, who just need to stay on top of it, stay accountable, be reminded of it, and keep building upon what we've learned together. You don't necessarily need to have a huge audience to launch to because you have a smaller audience of past clients. You have perhaps even a small following on a social channel or a small list, and you have an audience that is a lot closer to you than a giant audience of traffic that you've built from more of just being known or more of sharing your how-tos or something or your perspective or your opinion. You've actually got a strong relationship with a lot of people. So often people who have smaller lists have actually stronger relationships with the people on their list. And that's fairly known because you haven't necessarily done all the tactics, done all the strategies out there to build your audience quickly. The people who you've got on it are people who've been on it, know you, like being on it, and like to stay connected to you. And they're just paying a lot more attention to you. They have a strong relationship with you. So it makes perfectly sense to start a program from not having a huge audience, but from having a membership right away and using that membership as a way to get known and start growing your audience. Because as a one-on-one practitioner, you aren't necessarily building a brand name. You aren't necessarily doing the things like launching and creating signature programs, although you might have some of those that are requiring you to get out into the world in a bigger way and start developing that brand recognition and also just working on those list building strategies such as audience sharing and running ads, just lead ads that start to build your list and all the other kinds of things that starts to grow and help you get out into the world. And have probably not been doing a lot of that. And if you have, maybe it's been to varying success, but having a signature program is a great way to get known in the world and start building that. And because that forces you to get really niched. It forces you to do the things that all the really great audience growers have been doing well for a long time, is providing very focused content in a certain topic and doing it in a way that's fun and interesting and entertaining. And then you can start to use your program that you may have attracted 5 people to, or 10 people to, or 20, and maybe even at a slightly higher ticket level, because it makes more sense to charge them $100 or $200 or even more a month, because they already are used to getting high level support from you. And they know they can expect that in your membership program. That is going to be your excuse to get out there and start getting known. And you can use all the leverage from having a consistent amount of core clients, revenue, to start doing those list building tactics. So that's why sometimes having a stronger foundation as a coach or a consultant who starts with that and then grows a membership and then uses the membership to start promoting about it to the world and making that their reason to start growing the audience does really work. And I've seen that work with a lot of people. And that's actually how I've done it. To be honest, my list is, say, only around 5,000, not huge. I haven't really gone for it. I have grown it in all kinds of ways and fairly consistently, but I can't even tell you when there's been a big jump. It just feels like it's gone up by 1,000 every year for the last few years. And actually, probably 5 years ago, I think it was at about 500. So when I decided to start my first membership and even my second membership, it wasn't very high. And it's been through the process of developing my membership, and my membership happens to be in memberships, about memberships, but even just niching down to get that clear on that focus area was the start of my list building happening in a much easier way. Now, let's shift perspective for a second and talk about the person who has built the big following and has the big Facebook group or YouTube channel or Instagram following and now wants to start a membership. Well, the good news is that there's a big group of people to launch to. Yes, hopefully, if you're this person or want to be this person, you have learned to take your following from your platform and move it towards your list so that you have more control over who you're launching to, how much they can really see your content and your offer when you put it in front of them. And that is the step number one. And then the step number two is that how do you transition that following into paid subscribers in a membership program, which can be a little bit tricky when you've built up a really big following and have been giving away your content for free for a very long time. Okay. Because while I always say, if you've got an audience, don't worry, I can help you monetize it. It is true. You definitely have a baseline to go on, and you've probably worked hard for years. That's the other thing that, just to take a bit of the mystery out of that, people who are monetizing their audience or getting close to it have typically spent several years or more growing their platform following. They have been showing up consistently, showing up professionally on some, perhaps more personally on others, depending what platform you tend to gravitate towards. And it is now finally, at the time where you can monetize it. So the work has been done. The work has been done, and to some level for free before, say if it was YouTube, for example, been able to be monetized through ads on YouTube. And then that's similar, though, to building a smaller audience, but actually getting paid for it. So there are those trade-offs, right? Like giving away content weekly or daily for free on social platforms takes time and effort. And it eventually does monetize, but the work has been put in. So, don't think for a second that it's just a cash cow opportunity, because it is an effort. It's still a bit of a grind, but hey, congratulations if that's you. And if other people, heck, they've done it. And that is no small feat to be able to grow 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million followers on YouTube or Instagram or anything like that. That is a feat, and that's effort, and it means that you're resonating. The challenge is that now you're going to have to figure out what is going to make your membership special. What is going to be special about it, so that people feel like it's worth jumping over that paywall into the gated community or gated subscriber area, members area, where they can get access to something that they want more of, that is not all just the free content that they were getting on your channels. And that's where it is still something that needs to be thought through, and it helps to have a really strong plan for it, or at least a loose plan, because just because you gave it away for free doesn't mean that they are going to automatically want the next thing. Yes, if you have a load of subscribers, there will be people who've been following you religiously. They're very big supporters. They believe in you. They believe in your perspective. They want to support you. They're eager to get what you have. And when you have a giant following, there always will be at least like 8% of people following you who are super fans who will jump over. Hopefully 1%. That's a really good test that you've created a really strong value proposition. But it's not just that, though. You want to keep that going, right? So learning how to create content in your community that keeps people there, that keeps it really differentiated from your free, and also learning how to pull back a little bit on your free, because just because your free got you there, it doesn't mean that it will keep you going. You might then need to think about what's going to be in your membership that is in a different kind of format to help them get better results in whatever they're interested in, learn more, get answers faster, save money, save time, all those things that people pay money for, right? Gain status, gain knowledge, gain connection, which are even higher level values. All those things, or at least some of those things, need to be real benefits inside the membership program. And it's not about having or trying to have every single one of those. It's about getting clear on what that is specifically inside your program that is going to be worth it for them and have them stay. They're going to be a little bit less close to you. They're not going to be as loyal as the coach or consultant membership who has got full of members who have worked with them personally, who might stay longer because they've built up a really strong, real one-on-one two-way feedback relationship. You won't have the same thing with a giant audience. They will know you, but you will not know them. So at some point, they might not feel as loyal. So that's where you're going to have to figure out what are those key differentiators that make your membership program irresistible to them, so that they don't just join for a month, that they want to stay for the long term. Learning how to monetize isn't always about building and building and building traffic. It's about, and this is true to all programs, all memberships, it's about learning how to convert more of the audience you have in ways that don't require you to go out and hustle for more eyeballs. You just really want to get the eyeballs that are on you, more of those to convert into clients and members for the long term. And that's the kind of number one secret to profitability and really knowing that you're doing a good job monetizing your audience. So that is my attempt to answer the question, is it better to have an audience first or a membership? The real answer is that you can have either, and it 100% depends on what you've done already well, built up an excellent roster of loyal clients who are eager to keep working with you, built up a big following of people who you haven't asked for money from yet, but know that because it's big and because you're really clear in what you're going to offer, that they'll come over to the program. That's also the case for the other smaller membership style. You still have to be very clear on what you're working on and helping people with. You just have a little more room because you have a chance to play with a fewer amount of people and figure out what they want. Just as in the bigger audience, you have more room, is that you'll get more people in. And if you do lose a bunch because you don't really know what you're doing right away, you won't even really feel it if you get a number of people to jump in right away. But then the clock is ticking. Once you launch your membership, no matter if it's tiny or if it's big, that's when the clock is ticking. That's when you've already brought over your biggest fans. And your work to get the next level of fans, the ones that aren't just going to buy anything you throw out there, is going to be just a little bit more complex and a little bit harder. It just means that you have to position a little stronger and launch a little bit better and really start to track what's working. So either way, it's totally doable. Memberships are still a great way to bring huge flexibility into your life as a business owner. You can completely clear out your schedule of like hours upon hours of meetings and creating content. You can use it a little bit more as your playground to deliver what you really know they need to become successful. And you can be a little bit more spontaneous and inspired with what you want to share with them in real time. And it's an excellent way to develop a loyal following and really strong relationships and a fantastically profitable business model. So if you're in either of these cases, come on over to scalingdeep.com, find out what I've got on the go right now. I know I'm going to be launching something really, really special to my list in the next couple of weeks. So if you're not already on it, go sign up, scalingdeep.com. You can find a start here. And I'm going to be focused on helping a bunch of people get their membership figured out, dialed, set up, and all that by fall of 2024 so that you can launch or relaunch before the end of the year and start to build your thriving membership business. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye for now.